Pony Spinster Spin here, and today we're gonna be doing something a little different. I never thought I would do this. I mean, sure, I would love to read fanfics, but you know, I never done something like this before, and I'm kind of wanting to feel a little experimental, right now, especially when I was with this type of fanfic. I always read like every different type of fanfics, especially ones that are, written by somebody else, and I credit them in the description. But because this fanfic, however, is the one that I write, that I myself alone wrote with the help of a friend of mine, Menchie, by the way. Um, but still, it's kind of weird. But writing something that reading something that of course, that I, along with the help of a friend of mine, wrote. But this, however, makes me feel like you know, this story, however, just makes me feel like I'm reading this story to you guys. A little early when I was supposed to save it, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just want to, I feel a little experimental right now. I want to test out, see how this sticks and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read you this fanfic that I told you in previous videos. I believe not all previous videos, but I did mention it once. I believe it was called Instant Dash, and I wrote it with a friend of mine. So, yeah, we're gonna start with chapter 1, and we're gonna go ahead and start working my way through chapters. And I've been away from it way too long, and I'm currently writing several more chapters to wrap up stage 1 and see how well it received. Um, to see how well it received. And I am planning to do a stage 2 version of Instant Dash. So yeah. So if you haven't read or checked out Instant Dash, I'll go ahead and put the link of the fanfic in the description below. So yeah, let's go ahead and sit back, relax, and let's enjoy a story that is a parody and a tribute to Initial D. So, let's get into it. It was an average day in Ponyville, where every pony was minding their own business. Most ponies were driving to Canterlot for work, while kids were on their way to school. Some, like Rainbow Dash, woke up like if it was morning, even though it's the afternoon. She was straightening her rainbow mane out, and then stretching her body along with her wings. Her cyan blue coat glistening in the sunlight, she was making her way downstairs to the kitchen where her mother Firefly is at, drinking tea while reading a newspaper on the kitchen table. Firefly is a pink Pegasus with blue mane, with hairband, and a blue tail, with blue lightning bolts composes her cutie mark, and her tail is the same style as her daughter's. Rainbow went to the fridge, got herself a glass of milk, and places a slice of bread into a toaster while she yawned from waking up in the afternoon. I see some pony is finally awake, Firefly says. Yeah, well, at least I didn't sleep through the entire day, Rainbow quips back as she drinks her glass of milk. Well, good news. We got another client for the delivery service, Firefly responded, as she takes another sip of her tea. Oh, who is it? Rainbow questioned as she grabbed the toast from the toaster and took a bite. Firefly took one more sip of her tea. A bakery called Sugar Cube Corner. And well, they need our delivery service to deliver their cupcakes and other types of pastries to Canterlot, since their car can't do mountain drives, Firefly explained. Rainbow takes another bite of her toast and thought back of the name Sugar Cube Corner. She may have seen the place when herself and Firefly were moving away from Cloudsdale, since Zephyr Heights merged it as their so-called suburb neighborhood. Most Pegasi were not happy with that, while some do, which leads to those moving away, with Rainbow and Firefly being included. since they too weren't happy with that change. Hell, even the Wonderbolts prefer to stay where they're at near Ponyville since they wanted to keep it the way it was. Oh boy. I almost messed up this time. Alright, continuing on. So, this means I have to stay up all night for this delivery, Rainbow asked with a hint of curiousness. Yep, Firefly answered. That way I can explain to the owners the benefits of our food delivery service. You mean your food delivery service, since your name is on it, Mom, Rainbow responds back before finishing her glass of milk. Yeah, but it's just us two, Dashie, Firefly quips back, finishing her cup of tea and heads to the kitchen sink to wash it. Well, I'm gonna go meet some friendly faces in Ponyville since I gotta make some friends, Rainbow says before stretching her wings out for a flight. Okay, but be back here by 9 o'clock so we can meet the owners of Sugar Cube Corner, Firefly asked with normal raised voice. Sure thing, Mom, Rainbow says as she flies out the door. She sees the town is having a lovely day with a few ponies going to the market buying flowers or food, while others headed to the park enjoying themselves with a picnic, and it feels good, even if it makes Rainbow hungry again, even though she just ate some toast for breakfast. For her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden bump from some pony else. Just when she recomposes herself, she was looking at a very familiar yellow Pegasus with pink mane and turquoise eyes. Fluttershy? Rainbow asks as she reaches her hoof out to help. Rainbow Dash? Fluttershy stuttered with a bit of nervousness since she bumped into her Fillyhood best friend. All of a sudden, the two of them hugged in a warm embrace, since the two of them haven't seen each other since flight school, and when they moved away from Cloudsdale, they were super close friends. And honestly, Rainbow felt she was developing feelings for Fluttershy during the duration of that time. Yet she still does, since those feelings never died. Wow, it's been a while since we last saw each other. Heh, Rainbow says, letting out a nervous chuckle while scratching the back of her head with her hoof. Yeah, I thought you either moved into Canterlot or Las Pegasus, Rainbow, Fluttershy exclaimed. Hey no, me and my mom wanted to move into Ponyville since I wasn't a big fan of big cities like Zephyr Heights. And the Wonderbolts are staying in Ponyville despite the fact they were originally from Cloudsdale, Rainbow explained. Rainbow and Fluttershy started to catch up with each other, explaining about how their lives were like after the move. Fluttershy told her story about how she could speak to animals thanks to her cutie mark, and now she understands them, and her cottage is not far from Ponyville, where she likes the peace and quiet. Then Rainbow told her story about how her mom is running a food delivery service, which is called Firefly's Delivery, where she delivers food from other food places to their customers up and down the old mountain highway, like Donut Joe's, and Hey That Burger, and hopefully Sugar Cube Corner. Oh my, you were quite busy, Rainbow, Fluttershy asked quietly. Yeah, it was better than my old job at the weather factory, even though it was my first job, Rainbow explained. The two talked even more while they were flying around Ponyville for a bit, until they eventually found a cloud to rest for a bit while chatting away more on their daily lives. Rainbow felt like if it was yesterday that her and Fluttershy are still talking about anything they had in mind. Midway through their conversation, they were interrupted by some loud tires squealing down below. They see 4 cars entering an abandoned parking lot, doing donuts and burnouts, which scared Fluttershy a bit, but she felt safe now when they stopped. Rainbow and Fluttershy looked at each other, knowing it's their cue to see each other again sometime. They both waved goodbye and flew off, with Fluttershy heading back to her cottage, and Rainbow flying down to check out on the cars that were in the parking lot. As soon as she landed, she saw who it was doing the burnouts in the parking lot. It was Spitfire, the captain of the Wonderbolts. along with her fellow off-duty Wonderbolts, Soren, Fleetfoot, and Mistyfly. Spitfire was in her Subaru WRX STI Type R. Soren was in a Mazda Miata M Edition. Fleetfoot was in a Honda Civic R. And finally, Mistyfly was in a Lotus Europa. Rainbow had her jaw dropped. Not only her idols are in the flesh, but they're driving pretty awesome cars too. "Hey, you're Rainbow Dash, aren't you?" Spitfire asked. "Yeah, I'm Rainbow Dash. It's so cool to meet you guys in the flesh," Rainbow said with excitement and completely geeked out. "Yeah, well, I should have known some pony here is a fan of us," Mistyfly chuckled. Rainbow saw how cool their cars looked, and she was a little confused when she saw a decal saying Speed Bolts on their driver's side doors. "Speed Bolts?" Rainbow questioned the decal on Spitfire's door. "Oh, it's the name of our racing team here in Ponyville," Soren explained. "Yeah, we've been racing for Ponyville up and down the mountain highway, and sometimes we would go and race on another team's turf," Spitfire responded. "So, in order to be part of this team, I have to be a Wonderbolt?" Rainbow questioned with curiosity. "You're kind of close. In order to join our team, you must have a car that can handle the drive up and down the mountain," Fleetfoot explained. "We came here because of the legendary speed blur of Ponyville. Still races up and down the old mountain highway," Spitfire responded. Rainbow had heard her mom's stories about the speed blur of Ponyville, roaming up and down the mountain highway, but never knew that those stories were actually true. They chatted for a bit until Spitfire and her team decided to head home for the night. At the moment, Rainbow felt she might be able to make friends with the Wonderbolts. As she started her way back home, when she got there, Firefly was waiting for her next to her car, which was an old Toyota Corolla Terreno AE86, with a Firefly's delivery sticker on the driver's side door. The pair got in the car and took off to Sugar Cube Corner, talking about their day. "I met Fluttershy and the Wonderbolts in their off-duty hours," Rainbow responded. Firefly adjusted her seat while driving. "I see. What else?" Firefly asked calmly. "The stories you said about the speed blur of Ponyville is true, Mom," Rainbow answered back. "I see." Firefly trailed off while focusing on the road. It didn't take long for them to reach Sugar Cube Corner, where a yellow Earth Pony Stallion and a light blue Earth Pony Mare are standing outside with smiling faces as they stopped and parked the car on the curb. They both hopped out and were greeted inside. "Welcome to Sugar Cube Corner," the yellow Earth Pony said with excitement in his voice. "Thanks. My name is Firefly, and this is my daughter, Rainbow Dash," Firefly asked while ruffling Rainbow's mane. "Oh, it's so wonderful to meet you both. I'm Cupcake, and this is my husband, Carrot Cake," Mrs. Cake responded. "Ooh, who are these new ponies?" Mr. and Mrs. Cake, a high-pitched voice squeaked, which came from a pink Earth Pony with pink poofy mane and 3 balloons for a kitty mark. "These are the ponies who are going to help us with our deliveries on the mountain highway, Pinky," said Mr. Cake while holding a few boxes of cupcakes inside. "Who's that?" Rainbow asked. "That's Pinkie Pie. She's like a daughter to us, and tonight is her babysitting job," Mrs. Cake said. Pinkie Pie hops right in front of Rainbow Dash in her upbeat, happy hop. "Hi, I'm Pinkie Pie, and welcome to Ponyville." Pinkie Pie smiles while squealing. Hi, I'm Rainbow Dash," said Rainbow. Mr. Cake loaded the boxes of cupcakes in the back of the car while Rainbow hops in the driver's seat with Firefly standing by the door with a stopwatch and hoof, which made Mr. and Mrs. Cake a bit confused on why Firefly needs to bring a stopwatch. Rainbow nodded and started the car. The headlights popped out and she pulled out, which followed Firefly starting the stopwatch. Rainbow drove off into the old mountain highway, picking up some speed. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Cake walk up to Firefly with curiosity. So, Miss Firefly, what's with the stopwatch? Mrs. Cake questioned. Rainbow thought of it so she can get her delivery done in 5 minutes flat or less, Firefly answered. You must have a great mother and daughter bond when it comes to speed, Mr. Cake stated. Yeah, she wanted to beat her old record as usual, but she knows that it's about getting the food delivered on time, Firefly asked. Firefly discussed more about her delivery service to Mr. and Mrs. Cake while Pinky is hopping off to do her babysitting job on Derpy's kid, Dinky. Meanwhile, Rainbow is going up the mountain highway, going faster and faster by the second, carefully overtaking cars and making sure the cupcakes weren't thrown around. The old mountain highway is the only road that connects Ponyville to Canterlot. It also is where the legendary speed blur of Ponyville used to speed up and down. While Rainbow thinks about the rumors, she keeps herself focusing on the road, trying to get the cupcakes delivered on time. Rainbow starts drifting a curve and continuing to speed up the highway towards Canterlot. Luckily for Rainbow, there weren't no cops on the side doing speed radar, which is okay for her, so she won't get in trouble for speeding and driving pretty reckless on the highway. Rainbow arrives at a house where she was greeted by a unicorn who gave the bits to her, and Rainbow gave the boxes of cupcakes to her. Once Rainbow got back in the car, she started driving back to Ponyville on the old mountain highway, speeding and drifting as usual. And once she made it back to Sugar Cube Corner, Firefly stopped the stopwatch where she completed the delivery in 4 minutes and 45 seconds, which is a little faster than the last time. After some little discussion and tea, Firefly and Rainbow Dash headed back home very late at night, where Rainbow collapsed on the bed and fast asleep, knowing for well that tomorrow is going to be very busy as usual. So this first chapter is basically written by me, and I made a lot of spelling mistakes and the little errors on the first chapter, but I'll have it polished in no time after I'm done finishing this story. But there was a lot of, and you probably noticed I skipped over some spots because I thought it would just take up a little bit of the story and a little bit of the video, even though I'm pretty sure this video would be about 10 minutes or 7 minutes long, or probably 8, I don't know. But either way, this the part where Rainbow is like speeding up the highway, and then where Rainbow is trying to get the cupcakes delivered on time, the part that I skipped over is like the part where Rainbow starts slamming on the brakes and turning the wheel slightly to the right, which causes her to drift a curve, continuing to speed up the highway towards Canterlot. That was the part that I skipped over because it was a little too long, and it'll be way too way too much tell, and I just decided to make it a little more simple and just basically say that Rainbow just drifted a curve and just basically speed up the highway. So yeah, you're gonna be expecting a lot more from me from the probably first 3 chapters, I believe, maybe 2, I don't know. But either way, it's gonna be probably. So yeah, I'm probably gonna So yeah, basically I'm just gonna you're gonna probably expect more of me skipping some parts like that on the first 3 chapters because I want to make it a little bit more simple. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this little chapter of. So yeah, this is basically chapter 1 of Instant Dash, and it's called. Let me scroll. So yeah, the first chapter is. So yeah, the name of the first chapter is My Awesome Story Starts Here, and there's gonna be more chapters. So yeah, there's gonna be more chapters later on down the road as I cover through most of this story. So the next chapter will be A Brand New Day. So I'll be covering more of this story slowly as I slowly progress through the entire you know throughout this entire story of the fanfic. So either way, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you leave a comment down below. What do you guys think of it? If you haven't subscribed, make sure to zap the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to gently tap the like button, and make sure to turn on the bell icon so you won't miss out on any future videos. And as always, time for me to spin out.